on press.
We're going live, and now we are live. I
Hopefully
believe.
live. Hopefully
I
live.
Welcome
believe
back. Welcome back. Hopefully we
it's
are live.
Adapt Crypto.
Indeed,
That's
indeed.
all we got to say, right? We're just
We're just
Yeah.
adapt.
we're
That's it.
we're just adapt. We're adapting. How's everybody doing out there? We got Quali Crew, David Townsend. Hope you guys are doing well.
Let's see if who we've got in the chat. Do we have people? Yeah, we are live, so this is great. So guys, welcome to our live stream. Welcome to today's TA live stream where we're gonna review anything you please. But as always, just let a few people jump into here, and once they start jumping in, we can start talking about Bitcoin. But yeah, I think we have 7 people. Those 7 people get the live TA on Bitcoin. So with
Seven
that being
people.
said,
That's lucky, guys. That is lucky. And you know what? You 7 people that are in the stream right now, y'all ain't ready for this. You guys are not ready for this.
Extremely not ready. Yeah, we're on that next level, and I'd say if you're in the stream, if you're watching the stream right now, you are early, very early.
indeed, indeed. So yeah, with that being said, let's get on to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin actually, I was expecting it to come down into that $49,000 area, which I was always talking about, right? I was always talking about that $49,000 area. But what ended up happening is we came down to 50,500 flat, which was, one of the basing areas where I was looking at, and I said 50,000 to 49,000 is where I'm looking at, and you can check those videos. And we did get the bounce, and I was saying, okay, will this bounce put in a lower high or will it continue up and onwards? And it was on the weekend, and I didn't really have strong feelings, right? But if we look here and we look, and we look left, we could see, quite clearly we had a lot of clean area here for price to fill, and price exactly did that. After that happened, we did come up here and we tapped this resistance here. But technically, technically, until that resistance is broken, price is still on a bearish trend, right? You can see we're still, we still have the possibility to come in and put another lower, a double, top or whatever you call it. But all it is it's another high. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of things telling me that this is not the case. The first thing is if you go and look at CMEs on the daily, we were never bearish on CMEs. Where's your lower high? If you look at spot price, here's your lower high, right? Here's your high, here's your low, here's your lower high, and here's your lower low, confirmed downtrend. You go into CMEs, there's none of that. So CMEs was never actually in a downtrend. CMEs, here's your high, here's your low, here's your higher high, and if it puts in a higher low here, that's an uptrend, right? And we never ever broke structure. So that's something that should have superseded this, and your opportunity, as you can see, is when it wicked down and basically touched this order block area where I was talking about. All it basically was if you look here, when we broke this resistance here, all we had here looking left is a clean range to fill. Price came down, filled that range perfectly at as soon as we reached the bottom of the range, we got that bounce, right? But there is something very interesting that I did notice, and we are on daily. And if you look at the Stokes, all right, and this is one thing that's really giving me a massive, massive bullish bias that this might be the bottom put in, is that if you look here carefully, and I do believe I saw this on daily Stokes, there is a regression line coming in from all of the like some of the lowest lows all the way from back here. Where was it from? I remember seeing it. I don't know why it's not showing on. Where was those lows? Anyway, was it on days or 2 day? Anyways, what I do remember is that there was lows catching all the way since coronavirus dumping lows, right? And since that, it was getting picked up, but I forgot what time frame I saw it on. But anyways, we are getting like regression lines on all time frames, right? And I don't know if it was maybe the 4 hour or something, but you can see here on the 2 day we have this regression line coming in, and then on the 3 day we can see we even have a more aggressive regression line, which we are poking through here. But remember, this is not a trend line. It's not a. It's a regression, right? Showing that all right, that structure is still high, low, higher, low, right? So, as long as we're keeping that upward structure, it looks good. And just looking at how strong this candle is bouncing, right? This is a strong bounce, but basically, until we, get a closure above this area here, I'm not, that's what's gonna really, tell me fine that this is the base. We broken structure, and then I look for price actually to, start to pop up all the way back to all-time high, right? And there might be some sort of rejection here. We might see price bounce down. And then, what we can see here is if you go on the 1 hour, there's a very clean range here. You can see how nice this range is. And this is a very simple range. And what we could end up seeing is we could actually see price, break. If price were to break and close below the range, right? Something like this. And then you have a price close below the range. And then we could see price come down here, fill this area here to the left, and then I would expect a bounce from this area here, something like this, right? And we could see that we get the bounce like this, and then on the higher time frame. So essentially, what this would be is this would be a fake out, right? And it would be a fake out back into the range, and then we get the closure above, and then on the 4 hour time frame, it closes above, breaking structure, and then guess what you have? You have a full, bullish reversal, and then this is looking like a confirmed bottom. But again, it is still the like technically the weekend, and we do have CMEs opening later on today, so I would like to see how they open. And naturally, popping back down here to above 54,000 is not out the question. And also on CMEs, if you look where the CMEs close, 54,000. So naturally, when we are popping up here, there will be a gap, right? And you will see that there is a gap. There'll be a small gap, so popping down to fill that is not out of the question. So yeah, that's what I have to say about Bitcoin. Pretty interesting. And
It's very interesting, Harry. It's funny. Just just Bitcoin not going up a couple days in a row. It's like everybody gets bored and just completely walks away.
I know, and then you
Um,
miss opportunities like
and I
this,
think it's really just now that I'm really obviously with your help, Harry, starting to see these cycles a little clearly. It's just so easy to manipulate people. Like it is. I know people don't like hearing that, but it is crazy simple to use the psychology of short attention spans these days to shake people out of their cash. It's.
sure is.
I'm seeing how simple it is, basically,
Right.
I
and
mean, everyone was getting
Apparently,
super bearish.
yeah,
apparently, all you
yeah,
need to do is zoom in on the charts, and people get really bearish real quick.
yeah. Look at those gigantic red candles. It's all going down there these
Yeah.
last 4 days. So I don't know. I can't
About
remember
that.
what happened before 4 days ago.
Yeah, but I do want to ask you a question, Harry. You flip a lot between different charts on the perpetual contract, on the CMEs, on the spot prices for various exchanges. What
Yeah.
what do you think holds the most weight in terms of determining structures and long-term trends between like bullish and bearish bias?
Well, you see, the only reason I use this is because this is what I trade on, right? So I do all my markups on here. But if you look at it something like to Coinbase, and you look, it's only like a couple of dollars difference. It's exactly the same chart, right? So that doesn't really matter. That's just because this is the chart presented by Bybit.
Hmm.
So, but if you were to look at structure, CME is always a stronger chart. Always has been a stronger chart, a more clear chart. And you know when it comes to weekly, looking at like really high time frames, I would like probably go to BLX, right? And I definitely do think that BLX is is a stronger chart. And just since we're on
Hmm.
BLX, if you go and look at this, I did talk, this was
Oh
my
my
analysis.
God. Look at that chart. You see how beautiful that thing is,
It's a pretty
guys?
good chart. Bitcoin.
So yeah,
Bitcoin.
this was my analysis, and you can see every time we reach that midline, we did have some sort of pullback and struggle, right? Same thing here, right? Midline, pullback, struggle. Come to where we are now, midline, pullback, struggle, you know?
Hmm.
But you can see these wicks are being bought back up, which is quite strong. So I
What is
don't
that
think it's over.
saying? Sounds like we're
Huh?
headed to like 165K,
Well, according to this,
according to
yeah,
that to your amazing analysis here.
according to some calculations up here, according to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's correct. It's playing out so far, right? I mean,
Yeah,
catching
I
the
don't doubt
pullbacks,
it.
so it's pretty good. But with that being said, I know why all of the chat is here is because they actually want to look at some alts. So, first time seeing my face.
People are excited to see you in your charts in high resolution. I know we are.
And
Hmm.
so, yeah, I mean, let's get into these alts. What do we have?
Come on,
Did
guys.
I
What do
miss
you got?
anything?
What's
David was
Uni.
saying uni. Yeah, uni.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
also a little curious.
Me too.
This
Because
is another great psychological example. Coin releases record-breaking technology. Price drops.
4,000
What's
times current
happening?
efficiency? Crazy.
What's happening? Uni V3 is announced. They got cool new liquidity models where that might make it so you can't sell the top, and then the
oh
price
my
falls out of the
God.
bottom. What's going on, Harry?
Something great, to be honest. Look at this regression, right?
Yeah.
This is good news. If we're catching that regression there and we are confirmed turned up, you see, when
Wow.
we do regression on Stokes, right, it's very important to understand the difference between trend line and regressions on Stokes, okay? What a regression means is that you have something that's keep putting in higher lows, higher lows. That's a regression, right? So that's why I'm just making it easier for you to see. But a trend line is when you're actually catching the lows perfectly, right? So this is a regression that I was showing before, and then we had that pump, and now there's a regression here, catching these lows, and you can see it doesn't have to be perfectly, because at the end of the day, these are Stokes, but you can see that the lows were caught in this region, and now that we're turning up, it's actually looking quite juicy, to be honest.
Mm.
Weekly should still be turned very badly down. Yep, and we can see that is turned down, whatever we have of it, but let's go and have a look at so we got caught at this support very nicely here on the daily time frame. We're still not broken structure till we break all the way down at 22, right? We are getting rejected at this level here, but have we broken the wick? We haven't broke the wick. So guys, I'm going to give you alpha tip here, right? When you're looking at higher time frames, okay, higher time frames, on a lower time frame, you see this high and you see this low. This is a higher high and this is a higher low, and then this would be a low and this would be a high, right? That's how it looks on. I know it's confusing, but I'll let that sink in. You'll get there
Lower,
soon.
higher. No, I got you.
Yeah, we need to break above 28, and then if we do break above 28, I'm looking for this to come back up, and this would have been the dump, right? It's strange how we had this some sort of manipulation here where we pumped up here to 36, and then boom, had a huge dump, but still holding structure on the higher time frames, still
Hmm.
looking very clean. I mean, look at the 2 day. That does it looks very clean, right? It's quite healthy, to be honest. I mean, it's giving us a lot of space to pop back up here, but it's just a bit of a shame how that got manipulated, and unfortunately went
Yeah.
into sushi as well. And this is looking a lot more different. Uh, looking at sushi here, the base is all the way down here. So and we are getting the bounce, which is obviously a good thing.
Yeah, I was seeing a lot of alts sell off pretty sharply in this last Bitcoin dip. Um, More
Oh,
so
it's
than
quite
other
hard.
dips, even though the price action wasn't so extreme on Bitcoin. I was also curious why that was, because it's not just based on the uni news. Then it really is like sort of across different assets.
It's because of I think there was a lot of FUD this dump, right? They were
There's a
saying,
lot. There's a
and
lot.
like they were scared because I don't know, but this is quite close, right? The dump between each other. If we go and remove my drawings and we take a measurement tool between this dump and that dump was 26 days, and between this dump and this dump was 12 days, right? We only had like 13 days before the price actually dumped. So people were thinking like, we just got out of the blue. We had about 2 weeks of like green candles, and then suddenly boom, everyone's like, oh, and a lot of people are now getting into crypto, a lot of new people, and that's a lot of weak hands. You just need to have those diamond hands.
Mm. Up only.
Yeah.
Who
So
was
we have
that?
Who
I
said
like
it?
somebody's tweet. They were like, my wife wanted to go down in an elevator, and I said we couldn't, up only.
I will say though, there was a little bit of fundamental reasoning for the uni drop.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, the whole layer two scaling through optimism was a very big piece of news. And earlier on in March, um, Optimism had announced that they were planning to release soon. And now it's looking more like Optimism, the layer two rollups, they won't actually be releasing until the not the is it the London or the one the not this coming Ethereum update, but the following Ethereum update. So layer two
Yeah, they
scaling.
said not before July. I think was the range. There just seems to be something incredibly complicated about scaling, because everybody's pushing back their timelines. It seems in these last
Yeah.
couple weeks.
Ethereum
Mhm.
is
There's
always
really
behind, man.
no.
They're always delaying. It's always what I hear about this.
And I've been hearing FUD about the proposal itself, that it isn't actually going to fix the gas prices, which is not so bullish. But I get a feeling like it is all sort of a super advanced FUD to you FUD the galaxy brains out of their right, all sort of levels of engagement. And I don't know, crypto's not just going to go away at this point. I don't see that happening personally, but
For sure. In a long enough time frame, it's always going to be on an upscale. I think what is going on, not necessarily just across one ecosystem, but just kind of as a general trend, is what you're seeing is a lot of the projects are pushing back their timelines, just kind of adjust expectations. There is a
hmm,
very, very documented, and I want to say it's kind of a famous saying. If you have spent any time in the sales world, it is never overpromise and always over deliver. So if
hmm.
you push back expectations and then you end up delivering on your timelines early, then you're going to see a corresponding spike in prices. There might be a short-term sell-off, but long-term, that's always bullish.
That's a really good
Indeed,
point.
indeed. So let's get back to some of these alts.
Yeah, what else
Look,
we got?
we
Lit.
have SXP. So let's have a look at that. Essentially, yeah, it's looking quite good, right? We came down, we tapped this support here. We're bouncing off that. Daily momentum is popping up here, which is obviously very, very, very good sign. But I am looking probably on the 4 hour for a slight pullback. Probably just around here, somewhere around here. Probably come back down to three, maybe three flat. Uh, but I am ultimately on the higher time frames. This is looking good for another setup to come test here. Now, if we do get rejected here and at 3.55, then and we come back down and break the support, then this is going to be extremely bearish, right? And and at that point, you could look at this as a head and shoulders, and then a projected move from that head and shoulders will probably bring us back to down to the support. But let's just see, why not? And it's bringing us, yeah, to the wicks, right? So
Yeah,
we'll have to see,
I
but
don't know.
looking like a good chart, looking like a good chart. Next we have uh
I don't know. My psychic powers.
pay.
Most of my TA runs on psychic powers, and my psychic powers are saying the credit card companies are going to front run all these credit card crypto plays.
They will. Oof.
But I have no basis for that. It's not financial advice.
Oh, what is that?
That's a wick.
Jesus.
Think you paid for that beautiful wick.
Oh man, I think I'm better at looking at this on Dex tools.
Yeah. Yeah, Paid has obviously had some troubles over its lifetime, but I think there still are a ton of supporters and people like hoping that the platform is really going to take off. And they still do have a lot of partnerships and good things in the pipeline. But it's always hard to switch your token. I think a lot of projects have gone through that in recent months, and it's never just a smooth transition out.
Oh, it's the
Right,
same
and
chart.
there's
How disgusting.
Yeah, it's been really, really choppy. I think people just can't decide what's
Arbitrage.
going on with it.
Yeah, I need to draw some candles to make it look nicer, right? Needs to look
I mean,
something like
yeah, I
this.
mean, you guys, everyone that's hopefully watching is aware of the exploit that occurred a couple of weeks ago. It's not the first time an exploit has happened in a major project. We saw the exact same thing happen with Parsec a couple months ago, and the price action. I don't want to say it mirrors exactly what happened with the Parsec. Whatever you want to call it, the re token launch, a secondary token. Parsec wasn't even hacked, and they had to
Yeah, it was
the
KuCoin, right?
I think it was Poloniex, one of those.
Poloniex, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Poloniex got hacked. Parsec kind of jumped ahead of the curve, so the liquidity didn't get too bad on Uniswap when people dumped the tokens eventually. But there was a certain amount of FUD that took quite a while to bounce back from. There was like a little bit of a spike up after the token relaunch, and then it kind of petered off for a while, and then kind of out of nowhere, you saw a huge jump back up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not going to say that this chart looks good because obviously it I mean, I'm not a TA expert here, but it doesn't look that good. But
It's very tough.
there's
Can't do TA on it. It's just no liquidity in that. I mean, very.
exactly.
It's like all front running bots. What it
But it
seems
does
like.
seem like another one of those classic psychological techniques where, yeah, token relaunch. Oh my God, it's broken. I guess I'm giving up on this project, and then it just moons right at that moment when enough people get bored
Well,
to
that's
walk
the thing,
away.
right? What about one? What is one?
Harmony.
Harmony,
What's the ticker like?
harmony.
It's one.
I
It's
feel
one.
like, am I
Where would it
imagining
be
this,
on?
guys? There's like
Oh,
this
here it is.
Netflix show. There's like this new Netflix show. I don't know if it's available in your region where, like it's like the best dating app ever using like your DNA or whatever, and it has the same exact like symbol as Harmony. I see a correlation. I look for signs and symbols in entertainment, and I see this as bullish for Harmony. But what does the TA say, Harry?
It's good. I mean, it's if it can confirm a low here today, we need two candles to confirm a low, right? So if we can confirm that this is a higher low, then it's looking good. But daily momentum is a bit up there, right? It's a bit, it's a bit heated, but it has come down. It can spend some time up here. It's not really, a death sentence in itself. But looking at the lower time frames, it looks like we're still holding a higher low structure. What I like to see. It does look like, where would a confirmed reversal will be above this pivot here. So I'd like to see it close above this pivot here. If it is able to close above this pivot, then yeah, I can say it is looking for some upside here. 1 hour, also wanted to, I mean, where it closed now is quite healthy. I probably would see this candle probably tap this resistance up here, but it is tapping this resistance right here on the left. Also, this candle here closed without a top wick. What that normally means is that there's no range for price to go up after. So it's kind of in a deciding state. So I'll just stick to my bias and say that, if we do get a 4-hour closure above 0.18, then it looks good. And here we're getting up to that, the beginning resistance that I was talking about. But I don't have very strong feeling on lower time frames. So yeah, that's what I think about Harmony. Not a
Okay,
bad
I
chart
believe
on the
there
daily.
was a request for Littentry.
Let's have a look. LIT ticker, yeah?
Correct.
Litentry. Is that how you say it? Litentry.
I'm not even gonna try.
Litentry. Yeah, I'm personally bullish on that project, however you want to say it.
It's looking good here. It's looking good. It actually does have an inverted head and shoulders, which is just price action, to be honest. And to be honest, I would prefer to draw a box here. But what we can do is, if we have a box something like this, if we do get a 4-hour closure above this, then we could take a projected move here. It's going to be quite a nice move. And we're looking like, we're going to pop up to this next resistance here and to $10. So, I mean, that's a nice, probably 10% move, 14%. And then if we do close above that, it looks like it's going to keep going up and onwards. Now, for some downside pivots, where would I get extremely bearish on this chart? Daily is not telling me. I mean, yeah, it's below this bottom here, to be honest. This was quite, it is breaking structure. So on the other hand, if we do confirm a top here and start coming down, this is putting in a reversal type of thing, right? And we could come back down and spend some time until any type of news comes back out, right? So we could come back down, range a bit, down range, do all of that rubbish before any news comes out. And then we could see the clean candle come out, and then you can see price pop up something like that, and then the next candle pop up something like this, and then boom, happy days.
That's what we like to see.
So yeah, what else have we got?
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I don't know. Can
Yeah.
you do one for me? I'm trying
Yeah,
to
I
think.
can.
There's so many coins. There's so many coins of what you look at. I'm sort of looking for an entry on TVK, the Terra Virtua,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it was going crazy for quite some time, and I just personally did not have enough of it. And then it seems like it was correcting very aggressively, and I'm wondering when a good time would be to jump back in.
I mean, TVK, your entry was missed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks like it's already hit its reversal here.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing it
Oh,
myself, just looking at the daily.
Daily Stokes, back up, closing above that last pivot. Your entry was here, right? That was your entry.
Yeah, with that big
I would have
wick.
not caught that wick. I would have caught here. How do you know? Well, look at this. You see, this is what we call an order block. So your first attempt at an entry, actually, I would have entered twice dollar cost average, right? So my first entry would have actually been here on this bounce. Then I would have got sold into, and then I would have held, all right? And then after that, I would have got pumped up again, and then I would have seen it close above this pivot here, and I would have been like, okay, good, we should see some continuation up. But then we get this dump. Then my next entry would have been here, right? And here, from this wick, seeing that there's good buying pressure, I would have gone in pretty heavy. And then there's a clean pivot that if price was to close below here, I would just close out fully, right? But that was basically your entry. If you
Well,
were
damn.
looking for another entry, I mean, look at me. Did you guys see what happened to me on Super? So please give me a like if you still feel for me on Super.
We feel for you, man.
Yeah, guys, F's in the chat for Harry. He missed his buy-in target on Super by less than a cent there, guys.
Ooh.
Zoom in really, really hard on that chart on his last video. Less than a cent.
It's crazy.
Man,
Yeah,
but
Super, obviously. I don't think we need to do TA on Super. It is straight up mooning.
who's correcting a bit now?
Yeah.
We could see, maybe if you're lucky, Marsh, you'll maybe get something like
Yeah, maybe
this,
get a
alright?
sell off a little bit.
And then if you get price back down to this level like so, alright? Why is text? I don't want text, go away. If you see price come back to this level here, then you could look and you get maybe a
Okay.
1 hour closure at that area. So
Something
go
around
drop
there,
down
yeah.
to the 1 hour, and then look for one bullish candle, something like this, then you can take a buy right here, right? Looking for
Okay.
price
Yeah.
to continue up. Also give me a thumbs up if you like my candle drawing.
I'd say
10 out of 10.
I'd say
Yeah.
that's all I have to say.
And even if you don't like his candle drawing, give him a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Even if
Smash
you don't like
smash those buttons, guys. We
any,
out
any
here.
buttons.
Just any sort of buttons, please smash them.
Okay.
Alright.
Let me get one last request in if you're gonna take any more. I'm
ahead, go ahead.
personally looking into Terra Luna. So
Oh
Luna.
yeah. Another Terra.
Ooh, low volume. Oof.
But isn't Luna at this point in the top 50 or something?
It's in the top 20.
Right? It's just I honestly can't believe the shakeup that's gone down in the top 20 in these last couple months.
All right. I believe Terra Luna has gone about 3x in the past 30 to 60 days. This thing has been on an absolute tear lately, and obviously I missed this giant pump up. Let me look at this thing. It's absolutely insane.
F's in the chat for a lot of people.
Will we hit this top target here? I don't know if that was one of my I'll have to go back and watch one of my TA videos, but if this was one of my long-term targets and it smashed this and had this dump, I'm gonna be really happy. So I'm gonna go back and watch the video I did on Luna and see if did I just draw this line or was this one of the targets? Because if this was one of the targets, then
Nailed it.
yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. But looking at this, we have technically, technically when you only have one candle here, that's not confirmed as a low, right? But we're on a daily time frame on an altcoin. So if we do start, if I do see something like this, all right, and this is the only condition, I don't have very strong feeling, but if you do see something like this, all right, and you get two candles minimum, right? Two candles minimum, then I'm calling this is gonna be a little bit of a reversal. But looking how these last candles are formed, what I do think can happen is if you look at these wicks here, that means that there's low volume at the moment. People don't really know what's going on, which is also, I have a sort of feeling you can see, look at that, that's like 12 hours of price doing nothing when you have price basically open and close in the same area. You can just black that candle out because it doesn't mean anything, right? If you were to just black this section out, that's the only price action that happened, right? Price came up, came down, made a support and continued up. Nothing happened here, right? So to be honest, how do I feel? Now it's, ranging at this level here. So if I were to say on lower time frames, there's even no structure. It's in an indecision moment. I'll have to look at this when something forms, right? Uh, I think it's in a very big indecision moment. But, if we do get any closure back on a 4 hour, let's see if some volume comes in. Any closure has to be above this area here, then this thing is gonna fly, man. This is gonna absolutely fly. I mean, look how juicy that is. It's just gonna pop up, It's so that's all I have to say with that. Nothing more.
I live for those juicy opportunities.
Don't we all? We have a
Yeah.
request for Dot. Long time since I've looked at good
I
old
always
Dot.
love to see some Dot. Yeah, Dot had an insane sell off as well during this same period. Some
Well,
some
this is
deep
interesting.
discounts available.
So technically we broke structure, right? And I was saying waiting for a closure above this thing is gonna fly, right? Above this area.
Hmm.
And then I said, on the other hand, if we do close below this pivot here, we could come and test this next support. We got the wick down to the next support, right? But technically it broke structure. But what we have here is something, a little bit special, is we have essentially two ways to look at this, all right? So this is what you call level 1 and level 2, okay? So this is, guys, I'm giving you such amazing trading knowledge here, by the way. You better take notes. I mean, like, this is alpha stuff. So this is here is level 1, right? This is level 1, all right? Why is it with arrows? I don't want it with arrows.
Yeah, they
Anyways,
look
and
cool
then,
though.
yeah, and then this is level 2, all right? So in level 2 structure, all right, technically we broke out and are closing back within level 2 structure. So essentially this is a fake out. And when a fake out happens, high chance it comes back and fills the range. But if you look at the range, when the fake out already happened, it filled the top of the range and now we're getting rejected, right? So technically we have to close back into where level 1 structure for price to continue up, right? So if we do get that bullish closure, right? And we do get the closure of this candle, maybe or the next candle somewhere back in the range here,
Hmm.
I do think then price can start recovering and then probably looking at, it probably does recover, maybe not as smooth as this, of course, but once it reaches this resistance again, I do think maybe we do have a bit of sideways ranging, and then after some sideways ranging, we can look for price, to hopefully break above this resistance and continue up and onwards. But you know, this is, on the other hand, what I do want to say though is that we're in a scary area, right? And what we can see here clearly is that if we were to reject here and come back down, and then we break below the structure again, all we are on the macro trend is put in a lower high, right? And then I do see price maybe coming back down and testing 26 again. But yeah, just keep your eyes on that, right? I'll leave that up.
Hmm.
You can mark
Get
it.
me scary, Harry. Don't get me scary. I don't want scary.
I don't know.
It's
I
not
wouldn't.
scary.
I wouldn't doubt the Dot. It is
Well, guys, I'm just
that
saying.
one.
I
That
mean,
one personally, I'm just thinking more long term, and we are headed to the stratosphere, in my humble opinion, not
I go on
financial
a
advice.
weekly. All right, weekly is actually doing something very interesting. Very interesting. And this will supersede everything. Everything. All right. If we close back in the weekly, actually, it's exactly the same, guys. I love price action. You know, if we close back in this range here on the weekly, next week it's gonna stop moving up. That's it. That's how simple it is.
Mm.
If this wick here can go back and close back within the range here, then it's looking very, very good. And that's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's. I think it's similar to the uni. They just had huge news as well with the parachain auctions going through. It's a Kala, a Sala, and Plasm have won slots, at least for the non-mainnet for the testnet.
Cheesecake
Man,
Factory, I'm craving that.
man, who is this pleb in the chat calling for all these TAs? I'm just kidding, man. I love you.
Yeah, I thought Binance Smart Chain was just scams and going to be done forever, but it really does seem to be coming back from its sort of initial growth spurt. I am personally happy to see that.
This is easy chart. Easy on bullish. We're very bullish. Uh, Looking for this to get tapped here, which we basically tap, so I'd consider that tap.
Mm.
If we do close the daily above this pivot here, right above here, then I look for this thing to continue up and onwards, and we'll just take some price predictions to see where we're going to continue. So if we were to continue up and onwards from that current posturing, give me my fib, please. Uh, you know, obviously just above all-time high, 22, and then we have targets up here at 20, 26.8. And to be honest, the weekly is firing off a huge signal here. If we do close the weekly above this pivot in 15 hours, just above this last high, I do think we continue up and onwards here, and that's cake.
That looks good to me.
It looks pretty healthy.
Um, if nobody has objections, I can you do one for me? I'm curious what happened with these Coinbase listings, either Polygon or SKL.
Polygon was Matic, right?
Yeah, Matic
What
or
did they keep the
SKL.
What did they keep the ticker? They
They
changed it
left
to
it as
Poly.
Matic.
They left it at Matic, yeah. It's that they didn't
That's
change
so
the token; they just
confusing, man.
changed their branding. Yeah, I also find it pretty confusing.
I,
Yeah, but they,
ouch.
they got partnerships and stuff. It really just had a massive sell off after the
Yeah,
listing.
hovered at that area.
Wow, look at that gigantic
Wick.
wick. Oh,
Oh, you're lucky, Marsh, huh? Look at that. Just catching that support.
Yeah,
Again,
no, just like
level 1,
clockwork.
level 2 structure. I mean, we break this wick here. I think we pop up and test this resistance here. If we can close, if, and only if we can close back within this range here, then we're good to go. We're reversing back up.
Mm.
And that's
Yeah,
what I
in
think.
hindsight, it does make a lot of sense. There were a lot of holders of this particular token before the Coinbase listing, and obviously, a lot of those people are going to be selling on the listing itself. So
Yeah, they would.
I don't blame them for that.
Want to
But
see
I'm still
SKL
bullish
as
on the
well?
project. I hope it does come back. Yeah, and SKL also is almost looking worse, but they do seem to just be recovering now in these last couple of days.
wow, that
Yeah,
looks like the
it's
exact same chart to me.
Exact same chart. No, they both had a very similar pattern. Those that could sell the top quick
huge.
enough on Coinbase, congrats to
Ah,
you. Yeah, almost
59%.
60%.
Oh,
That's hefty.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually need this to get up here before I start getting bullish. Otherwise, this is gonna start putting in lower highs and getting even lower. Probably even pop down here to 0.3. You know, it needs to come up above here. Otherwise, this is gonna start putting in lower highs. This is crazy setup. Huge. Not the
Yeah.
picture of health and fitness at the moment.
Yeah, I think a project like at this size is almost like not a good thing to get listed on Coinbase because then you get so many people getting in there to manipulate the price, and it's like it couldn't withstand the power of all of that um, selling pressure.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me why that happened.
So we had a request for Theta, which has been absolutely smashing it, right?
Insanity what they've just
Yeah,
been
it's
doing.
been great. At the moment now, it's still bullish for God's sake. Still bullish above this area here until it breaks 11.2. Not bearish on it. Closing above this pivot, making a lower wick. See the lower time frames. Still has some volume. Ooh, we might get a nice sell off. Looking at momentum, probably turning down. Yep, it's
You
gonna
know,
turn down soon.
Harry, I know you're not super big on patterns, but if you zoom back out on that chart,
On the 4 hour,
yeah, so zoom back out. Is that what you call a bull flag?
it's a bull pennant.
Bull
Hmm.
pennant. Okay. Can you explain for our viewers what that is?
Well, they don't have a high hit rate. I think their hit rate in cryptocurrency is like a 10% hit rate.
Really
Yeah, all
interesting.
it is, okay, look, guys, a bull pennant looks something like this, right? And then you take this, right? And you take the mast here and you put it from the breakout. And, where's it going to give your targets? It's going to give your targets. So technically, your first target would be all-time high, but all it's going to do is give your target a little bit above all-time high, right? And if we were to do that, right, and just take the arm, you take it something like that, and then you put it from the breakout, right? And see, all if we were to draw a Fibonacci, I'm sure we'd get similar targets. And this is just adding complements from here to here. And you can see, we are getting similar targets, right? It is the first target on from this low to that high,
Oh wow, look at
you
that.
know, getting similar targets, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so the thing is with bull pennants, how likely are you gonna see price just basically pop out of this, all right? And then just moon straight up to that. It doesn't make sense. But like, what about all of this, here, right? It has some relevance, and that's the thing. That's why I don't like patterns. So, but what you can look at this is like a resistance, and we're getting rejected at it. There is an argument to be made here, but if you look, carefully as well, uh, we did tap all the way up into that resistance up there, right? And that's where the actual rejection was, not at this trend line. The actual rejection was at this resistance up there, right? So, uh, I mean, you could say that this formation is getting a bit tired, but at the end of the day, uh,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, again, where would we close above? Well, if you go on the 1 hour time frame, above this, above its last pivot, right? Which would also break your trend line coming down from here. So yeah, but it's bullish on the higher time frames. Look at momentum is also getting tired. I would expect a small sell-off now, to be honest, back down to
Hmm.
here.
Hmm.
I think it'll probably come to this support down here.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, to be fair, Theta did kind of come out of nowhere to break into the top 10
It's
of
crazy.
cryptos.
mm,
So I wouldn't be surprised to see a small sell off in the short term, but long term, with everything that's been going on fundamentally for Theta, I would definitely expect to see continued upwards price movement.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my question is how much now that it's almost like a $10 billion market cap. I'm not sure if
Bigger, I
it's
think.
so that's what I mean. I don't know if it's going to $100 or more at this point.
Got a request
I'm
for
just not sure.
SHR. Where can I
Sharing is caring, guys. Don't forget.
Don't forget to share.
share?
Sharing is important.
Can someone confirm if this is share for me?
Share with us your analysis here.
If it loads. There we go. Is that share?
Sherry lady.
Yay.
Dun,
Ouch. I don't like this chart already. I'm upset.
Yeah, there's nothing like some zero reads on your chart to show extreme interest and excitement.
You might want to go to TradingView for this one. The
It's not
liquidity
on
on
trading view.
share. Is it not?
No, look, SHR. Nothing.
Huh.
Sometimes you got to
Surprising.
start writing like, wait, is it on an exchange?
Nope, not
That
yet.
is so interesting. Let me check CoinGecko real quick because I do recall the liquidity pool on Uni is not actually that old. They just added their liquidity to Uniswap.
But the chart is fine on this, to be honest. It's a clear uptrend.
Hmm.
Okay,
You
never
know,
mind.
it's
Continue,
not a bearish
please.
chart, right? We can easily see trend. Not a bearish chart. Issues below 0.069. You know, nice psychological number there for you.
Wow.
You know, so of course there has to be issues at that number.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is you gotta. Yeah, exactly. You gotta take some time. I mean,
Guys, remember,
psychological levels are very important in crypto. I would not. I mean, we're joking, but we're not.
we're obviously very adult, mature people here on this channel. So,
Yeah, but
yeah.
there is a lot of 420 memes going around in crypto, and you have to take information in from all sides and figure out what is noise and what
Yes,
is actually very
psychology
important.
is very important.
Yes.
Yeah, so no, not a bearish chart. Looking for that to continue up, to be honest. You know,
Hopefully, and
depends
then
on
hopefully the same
fundamentals,
with
of course.
Bitcoin. I'm hoping this week Bitcoin does do things. That's my personal hope.
Let's look at super.
Ooh, locked and loaded, right? I think a lot of people are selling their airdrops from their NFTs. That's my personal guess. Although it does
um,
seem to be lining up with
I think
the other sell
Daniel
off
can
around the business.
elaborate what's
yeah,
going
I
on.
mean, I don't think that people are selling their airdrops. If you
I
look at the
mean,
number of people that had actually or that hold NFTs versus the number of tokens that were unlocked with the first airdrop, it's 10% of the total amount that's supposed to be given out to the NFT holders. It's not actually a lot of tokens that were airdropped. I think that with the recent news, plus with everything that's been going on, I mean, Super's been seeing some insane price action lately, especially for such a high market cap project already. You are, I want to say that people that bought in early are just kind of selling into the buyers right now. And 318, 320. I mean, maybe we'll get Harry's we'll hit his price his buy target this time around.
Well,
And
that's my buy target there with the alarm, if anyone is wondering.
okay, guys, set your buy targets
3.0.
for 1 cent overwards.
Yeah, make sure to front run Harry. Whatever you do.
So mine is 3.083. So put yours at 3.084 and you'll get your buying.
Yeah. And then
No, the
guys,
only reason
just
is it's easy to manage risk here, right? I mean, I do think we get a nice bounce from here, and if it does close below, I'm selling at like a $3 loss.
yeah.
There you
And
go.
just one point I want to address real quick is when Binance put out their listing news for Super Farm DAO on Twitter, they actually linked the wrong super in their post. So there's a super coin and then there's Super Farm DAO, and they linked to Super Coin. So if you go to CoinGecko or you go to TradingView, whatever, you'll see that on the news of the listing, Super Coin pumped up like 80%, something insane.
Crazy.
And Super Farm did almost nothing. They had like a maybe a 20-30% pump, and then it went back down.
That's insane, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I guess they didn't do it on purpose. At least as far as my thoughts on Super, it's they haven't even launched their project yet, and that's why I'm so excited to be in this project. Personally, not financial advice, but it is coming very soon. And when they launch their website and when things are happening, are you guys joking? Like Super Farm, like it's I don't know, not financial advice.
I'm
It's
gonna
going
do
to go
something
someplace
special.
now once the product comes out. Those are my thoughts on that.
You see what I've done?
Eh.
Not at the bottom, a little bit up. Have to do that.
There you go. Yeah, not exactly at the wick.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it seems like we've covered all this. I think you guys want to have a chat, eh?
Perhaps.
We can
Yeah, how long have we
wrap
been?
it up if not.
How long have we been on here?
We've been up it for a while, so that being said, up to you guys. I think everyone chilled their odds. We had a nice TA session on this
Yeah.
weekend.
You know, guys, I woke up super early today to go on a hike and I am absolutely wiped. I got these glasses on so you can't see how tired I looked. So I think we should probably call it a day pretty soon.
I think so too. I think so
Indeed.
too. Yeah, after taking a step back, basically, I realized that a lot of news actually is trying to fudge you out of your bags and almost should not be listened to at all. So I think it's much better to listen to you, Harry, and really check out the price action because I think as we saw today, a lot of projects, whether they have extremely bullish news, whether they're getting hacked or not, they still can't fight the current that is the trend, the
Yeah.
overarching super trend that is Bitcoin and everything else,
Respect
and
the pump. Respect it.
just exactly
Don't deny it.
in those immortal words. So yeah, I feel like I don't have any specific news that I need to speak to today. So,
No. I guess with
but
that being said, man,
we appreciate everybody jumping in on this stream and taking your time to hang out with us because it means a
indeed.
lot. And if you wrote literally anything in the chat, you are a hero. And you can like go back to bed. Your day is you did stuff. You actually literally did stuff, and we appreciate you doing that.
All right, guys, I
Much
think we're going to call it
appreciated.
a night. Don't forget to get your alts ready to shill Harry for next week's live stream. Please remember to like, share, comment, whatever if you enjoyed tonight's live stream. And I think we're going to call it a night.
Indeed, guys. Take care. Trade shop. Until next time. Cheers.
Respect the pump. Peace.